Hmm. Hmm. Alrighty. Eagles continue their winning streak. They win yet another game, but the way they did it, man, just it wasn't very impressive. But it is what it is. But I'll break it down for you guys.
Fasten your seatbelts for the realest Eagles and Sixers YouTuber! One who plays no clickbait and gets to the point! The myth, the legend, Nicky Steves! Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keeps six real. Top 60 statue think they slate, dropping unrealistic mad 2K takes for the clip. Even though cats like that get views closer to the milli, never hear me preach, slip on to Philly. Before you watch the Eagles all the way through the early 22, authentic talk, forget what others do. Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keep six real. The 24/7, 365 way. Sports content for the reals to fill the day.
Hello, folks. This is the abbreviated intro before we get this thing started. If you wonder why, Hardcore Sports Network, we got a new StreamYard, so we just getting it rolling, but we here anyway. We still kicking it on my channel, the Hardcore Sports Network, recapping the Eagles games for you. And there's the link to my channel if you haven't done so to subscribe. There's link Hardcore Sports Network channel to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. But with that, without any further ado, let's talk about it. Philadelphia Eagles could they edge the Carolina Panthers en route to their 9th straight win. And with this 9th straight win, we're 11-2. We're just one game behind the Detroit Lions, who defeated the Green Bay Packers Thursday night for home field advantage in the NFC East. But the performance has a lot of people talking because I've been looking. A.J. Brown is mad, and I'll talk about that in a bit too. Yep, says thanks Star Wars 99 for stopping by. But they got a lot to talk about, man, because so far, the way people have been talking about it, for the recap articles, the YouTubers itself, we're not talking about it in a positive light for a team that's won 9 straight. At least not this game. We were giving more praise after the Ravens games, the Commanders games, and the Rams games. But the reason why is because we didn't perform that well in a big game situation. We're not a big game situation, maybe, but that's next week. But we didn't perform well in a game we were favorited minus 13.5 points to win. Now, some people are freaking out about it. I was watching Red Zone yesterday. Yep. How much of the Eagles-Panthers game did you catch? Arku, hey, and you know what? As always, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it as always. You got Arku, Grega John, Star Wars 99. He says it was a weird Sunday. Yeah, it kind of was an odd week for the NFL. Right. A lot of odd stuff going on, man. I'll talk about that in my week 14 recap. But yeah, it was an odd day. And especially with this, the Eagles-Panthers game ties right into that because it was a lot more competitive than you would think it would be. However, to be fair, I did hint at the idea that it could be a competitive game in the preview. I referred back to the year of our Super Bowl run, 2022. You know, we had a Colts game against the Indianapolis Colts, who were an abysmal team that year. But sometimes it happens where good teams have bad games. And Philly Mike, you know, from the Philly Talk podcast, OG Eagles content creator, in his recap, he said it too. I mean, it happens. Good teams have bad games. Sometimes you barely win. Sometimes you struggle and lose to a team you should have beat. But it happens in the NFL. Now, to me, really, KC only won by 3 against the Panthers. A win is a win, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. A win is a win. Now, in KC's case, that's more frequent and more common because they've been winning close games throughout the season. For the Eagles, we beat the Ravens more convincingly. We beat the Rams in good fashion. It's not always the best wins right there. So we're used to winning games more convincingly, whereas Kansas City, we're so used to them playing close. Now, but guess what? We still won. We still ultimately won. Now, I think the reason this ultimately went down the way it did is because I feel like the Eagles were looking ahead to next week. Because next week, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers on the schedule, who are one of the top teams in the AFC. And when you look at the schedule, who we have left, when you looked at it going into week 14, look at Panthers, Then you look at the Steelers, Commanders, Giants, Cowboys, those teams, you're looking at like, oh man, Steelers are the toughest game on that schedule. Commanders right behind them. So you think on paper, okay, yeah, this ain't the best game. Yeah, this ain't, this is kind of an easy game. So I kind of think the Eagles mentally were looking ahead to next week. They were kind of just like, all right, all we really got to do is show up and we'll get the win. And that in part ended up being true, but it made fans a lot more anxious. It was a little more of a headaching than more of a nail biter than it should have been. Because I feel like we came in underprepared. We're looking ahead to the Steelers next week. But hey, it ultimately happens when you think about it. And even after the game was over, I thought about it. I'm just like, yeah, it's got to be what's going on. They got to be looking ahead to the Steelers because Steelers could be tough in the playoffs, Nikki. Exactly. That's which ties into what I was saying. The Steelers, who are a tough team in the playoffs in the AFC, are on the schedule next week. While the Panthers are still in a huge, deep rebuild. So in the Eagles' mind, it's like, okay, we're not really worried about the Panthers. We've been winning all these games. They're a struggling team. Well, I'm more worried about the Steelers. So I think the Eagles weren't playing. I will definitely look at the way they played. They didn't give 100%. Because to me, they were just seeing this as a filler game to build momentum for the Steelers game. And it's got to be the case because you beat the Ravens. It was more convincing game. I was more confident in against the Ravens, particularly in the second half, than I was against the Panthers. I was more confident against the Rams, who just don't go away, who managed to beat the Buffalo Bills yesterday to stay in contention in the NFC to at least make the playoffs and maybe possibly win the division. Possibly. But the point being is we played better against those teams than we did the Panthers. The only explanation is they got to be reserving themselves for the Steelers. It's got to be the reason why. Because you look at the play calling, it was sluggish at times. The passing game really didn't going. And I think that was in large part due to them being underprepared. I don't think they really took this game as a serious matchup. They just felt, oh, well, hey, we're playing the Panthers. All we got to do is just show up and win. And that was the mindset going into this game. That, to me, explains why throughout the game it was close. You had several lead changes. Now, the best part about this game was that, as Star Wars 99 pointed out, Barkley broke McCoy's record. That was the best part and the one thing to celebrate from this victory. Saquon Barkley surpassed LaShawn McCoy's Eagles record. The Eagles record was 1,607 yards for a season. Barkley on the season has 1,623. So he surpassed that. And he had himself, folks, another 100-plus game on the ground, 124 yards on the ground. So Saquon Barkley came and delivered on offense and made sure we walked out. He got the record and continued to submit his case for MVP and ultimately helped us win a game. So we got to give Saquon Barkley a huge shout out for this one right here because that was the main highlight on offense. That's right. Single season rushing record. Let's see. Let's take a look here. We got ourselves a play. It's the play where he broke. Yep, this looks like the play where he broke the record, folks. Yep. And check out, we got Brian Dawkins, a unique, gifted person who keeps on giving. Thank you again for the hookup, Giants. That's right, our boy Brian Dawkins. So shout out to Dawkins for his support of Saquon and his continued loyalty to the Philadelphia Eagles. History maker, that's right. What else? Any other comments from anybody within the Eagles? I mean, a lot of fan comments too. That was nice. Also, the good news is we officially Clinch the playoffs. That's right, folks. Philadelphia Eagles officially clinched the playoffs. That's right. And then yet Greg is saying Eagles will be fine. Oh, they will. I'm not panicking over this game. To me, this is just a one-off deal. I mean, it happens. Even good teams have bad games. Just put it behind us. I'm not worried about it. I mean, here. And is he going to get 2,000 yards? Let's see. We got. So let me see. Get to 2,000. He's got to get at least 100. To me, to get 2,000, he's got to at least get 100 against the Steelers, Commanders, Giants, Cowboys. He's got to at least get that 2,000 mark, 200, that 100 mark these next couple games. Because where is he at? He's at 1607. He gets 100. That's 1707 next week. Then after that, 18. Yeah, he's got to get at least 100 yards in at least these upcoming games, or get close to 200 in one of these games. Then he could get to 2K possibly. But so it's possible, especially with another rematch against the Giants. But there's also the possibility that by the time you get to the final week against the Cowboys, Eagles could be resting their starters because they already have a spot locked in. You know, either they could already have home field or Lions could already have home field. So for the Eagles, they might, all right, we got nothing to play for. Let's just rest our starters against the Cowboys. So there is that possibility. You're looking at possibly the Week 17 being the final window to get there, but it could happen. He's just got to continue to get 100-yard games in order to get there. And like I said, we did clinch the playoffs there. That's what's up. That's what's up. Let's see, and what else do we have? Let's see. We did get Nick Sirianni's speech. What did all right, I'm scrolling around, see what I can show you guys while we're still on the IG page. I originally came on here to show Saquon, but I'm like, all right, see what else I can show you guys. I'm going to show you Sirianni's locker room speech. Let's see what he had. All right. So there's a little snippet there from the locker room. But yeah, obviously we do have some work to do because we look at the game. There was way too many lead changes, and I felt real anxious about this. Oh my gosh, they're going to lose. Because even on that final drive, oh my gosh, we got lucky on that final drive, bro. The Panthers were just this close, literally inches away from a game winner. There was on a pass that was going for the end zone that could have been the game break sealer. That could have been the same game sealer for them to win. Oh, we got lucky. It was like we had, you guys remember, Bryce Young's pass to the end zone to Leggett. Oh my gosh, bro. The ball literally came out on the way down. He didn't survive the ground. If Leggett would have caught that, that would have been a touchdown. And I remember that drive. I was having deja vu. I'm like, this looks like the Falcons and the Seahawks game from last year all over again. We're barely winning on the final drive. They're marching down the field. I'm like, oh, here we go again. Or the Cardinals on New Year's Eve last year. It was looking like those three games all over again. And I'm thinking in my mind, oh, here we go again. It's happening. I was a little worried that, oh my gosh, they're going to blow it. But they got a lucky break on that one too. So we still got to remember, they got lucky, few lucky breaks into the Panthers. And not to mention their undisciplined approach at the end. penalties, delay of the games. And the Panthers' 9 penalties, let's not forget, it did play a role in helping us, especially on that final drive where they shot themselves in the foot several times. That Leggett not surviving the ground on that pass that could have helped them score the go-ahead and game-winning touchdown. The penalties that backed them up further, where they could have gotten first downs off of. I mean, it was a lot. A lot of undisciplined play by them also helped us win this game. Because if we would have came this underprepared against the Steelers, let's face it, we'd lose. So we also got to thank the Panthers' undisciplined play. And when I look at what we did, our offensive line wasn't up to expectation. The Panthers did get 4 sacks. Now, I do have to wonder, though, too, is this a sign of the Carolina Panthers? Because they've been playing more competitive lately. We got to factor as well. Is it possible the Carolina Panthers are starting to find something that they could build off of for the future? Because remember, take the Detroit Lions of 2021. Their record was not good at all. They only won 3 games. But you saw as the season went along, they started to play better. And as a result, you saw they played better even though they weren't winning. And that carried over to the following season. You got to wonder if the Panthers are at that point now where they're playing better later in the season. Even though now they're not winning, they're at least putting up a fight in their games. So this could be a sign of us playing a team at a time that's at least starting to get more competitive. Because you can just Chuba Hubbard and Adam Thielen had themselves good games in this one. They were the ones, I got to at least give credit to Hubbard and Thielen, however you pronounce it, and Adam Thielen. They at least had good games, and they kept the Panthers in it, and they gave us a run for our money in this one. So I can't completely crap on the Eagles. I got to at least give the Panthers a bit of a shout out as well. Give those players at least shout out for bringing their A game. The Panthers defense, they got 4 sacks on Jalen Hurts. I can't be completely mad. I got to at least give them some props for at least making it a competitive game. So respect to the Panthers for at least making a fight out of it, making us work a little bit for the win. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Eagles got the job done. We rolling. Bring on the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. It's really all I got to say. I mean, there's not much to say in this one, except A.J. Brown wasn't happy about the passing game and the way it was set up, which I understand, because A.J. Brown's like, yo, this was not the most efficient game in the world. Even though we won, I understand his frustrations because it's like, hey, we're playing against a team that's in tank bowl contention. It only had 3 wins. Why are we struggling in the passing game? I understand his frustrations. So I understand he's coming into Monday a little upset, but I'm thinking I think it'll boil over. I'm thinking, yeah, he was upset now, but I'm thinking, look, it's just something that's in the moment. It'll boil over. Team will get back on the same page. It's nothing to worry about. I don't think we're going to have to really come on here and talk about it and make a long video or YouTube shorts about it. I think it's just an in-the-moment thing. It'll pass on, and we'll move on. With that being said, pretty much all is going to – there's not much else to say about this game because this was just kind of was a throwaway game. It was just one of those games we came underprepared. And as a result, Panthers took advantage of it. That's really all there is to say for me in this one. But before we get going, just going to play a song real quick for you guys. And then going to head on out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, hey, even though I know it wasn't pretty, we got the job done. And like I said, let's not act like the Chiefs and other teams didn't struggle with the Panthers these last couple of weeks. Exactly. And not to mention as well, with Kansas City, they struggled in a lot of games throughout the season. They've had a lot of close games this season. Whereas the Eagles haven't had that many close games. So we got to keep that in mind as well. So let's keep that in mind too. And keep it at that. So that being said, to everyone that stopped by, Grega, Star Wars 99, Arku, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to download this and upload it to Spotify. And when I do, I'll share the link via my Twitter. And I'll share it in my YouTube community tab so you guys can listen to it there if you want. Real quickly, I'll drop the link to my Twitter for those who aren't following it in the chat. You guys can copy and paste into your browser, and that's where you can follow me up on Twitter. So with that being said, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this for the time that lasted. Eventually, we're going to do an NFL Week 14 recap where we talk about the other main storylines in the league. Still don't have you most likely going to be tomorrow, but I'll let you guys know when I have a time and date set for it. It could be Wednesday sometime. It could be this time, but I'll let you know when I have a time set. And then Wednesday, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be hosting NFL Pick'ems. This Wednesday will be Week 15, where we'll be talking about Week 15 matchups and doing my picks live, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, exclusively on the Hardcore Sports Network. So you want to stay tuned for that. If you're a basketball fan, on Wednesday, we doing the Pick and Roll Podcast, episode 101. Me, Mitch Kofsky, Blaze Radio, and Rios from Just Fans Podcast, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Wednesday. So tune in for that if you're a basketball fan. That being said, that's all I got for you for today, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this. You have a great rest of your Monday or great evening if you're catching it on the replay. Make sure to drop a like on the platform if you haven't done so and subscribe. And until next time, it's your boy Nicky Stees signing off. Fly Eagles, fly, baby.